Hey there, Geometry. It is Mr. Lamb, and this is the final section. This is section 6 of the Geometry Final Exam Review Packet. Please do not forget that this is not the only things that are going to be on the final exam. The final exam is going to be comprehensive. There will be other things that you need to know. Please feel free to review any of the old notes, videos, look over your old tests and quizzes, watch the old test keys being made. Anything that you can do to review the stuff from early in the year would be to your benefit, especially things about 30, 60, 90 triangles, SOHCAHTOA, Pythagorean theorem, all the way back to proofs and segment addition postulate and all those things. So just make sure that you are preparing. But the 3D and surface area and volume stuff, and remember, we did not take a test on this. You guys opted to do the project of the Cereal Box Lab in place of the test. So some of this stuff would have been on tests, but however, you decided that the Cereal Box Lab was enough, so let's jump into a few of these problems. I am not going to be concerned that you have all of these formulas memorized. There are some of them that I would expect you to possibly know, but if it looks like on the exam there are certain formulas that you need, I will make sure that I provide those for you. So with that being said, as I take a look at a sphere has a volume of 500 pi meters cubed, find the radius. Well, one of the formulas is the volume of a sphere, and the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r to the third power, so cubed. Well, if I know that the volume is 500 pi, and that has to equal 4/3 pi r cubed, the first thing I would do is I would divide both sides by pi. So if I divide both sides by pi, those pi's would cancel and these pi's would cancel. So 500 would equal 4/3 r cubed. And then our algebra tells us that when we want to solve to get rid of the 4/3, I would multiply by the reciprocal 3/4. And do that to both sides. Multiply by 3/4. So the 3's cancel and the 4's cancel. So I have r cubed is equal to 3/4 of 500, which is 375. And then you have to find the number that I multiply by itself 3 straight times, or what's called the cube root. Now be careful, I know this looks like a square root, but it is not a square root. It is a cubed root of 375. Your calculator will do that for you. You just have to hit the math button to find the cube root button. Or you can raise it to the 1/3 power if you're in Algebra 2 and you know that. But you would find that this would be about 7.2 meters. It's going to be real close to 7.2. Remember this, again, you have on your exam, it's going to be multiple choice. This would be a great time that if you had a few different numbers and you're like, I don't know what the cube root of 375 is. Take the answers and cube them. Take all the possibilities and multiply them by themselves 3 times and see which one gets you the closest to 375. That would be a very easy way to go about that. All right, questions 4 through 8, the remainder of this thing. And it looks like it's actually only 4 through 6, or 2 through 6, not 4 through 8. So for questions 2 through 6, we have to find the surface area and the volume. Okay, so number 2, the surface area is going to be the area of each one of the faces. So I'll take a look at the front. So if this is the front, the part that's facing me, the front has also a back. So I'll highlight the back that are the exact same size. So the front and the back are both 2 by 13. So there are 2 of them. And they're both 2 by 13 rectangles. So that'll take care of those 2. All right. And let's do the left and the right. So I have this piece over here on the left and this piece over here, which is the right. They're also rectangles. They're the same size. They are both 2 by 10 rectangles. Okay, and the last piece is going to be this big top up here. And then the bottom, which I'm not going to highlight it because they're going to overlap. They are the same size, so there will be 2 of them. And they are both 13 by 10. That's how big they are. Okay, so 2 times 13 is 26, and there are 2 of those. So 26 times 2 is what, 52? 2 times 10, so those are 20s. There are 2 of those, so that's 40. And 3 times 10 is 130, and there are 2 of those, so that's 260. So the surface area is to add all these little areas together. When I add them all up, I'll get 352 square inches. To find the volume, this one is actually a lot easier than surface area. The volume of a rectangular prism is length times width times height. So the length is 13, the width is 10, and the height is 2. And if I multiply those 3 numbers together, I would get 260 cubic inches. That's what it would take to fill it up. So my surface area, 352 square inches. The volume, 260 cubic inches. For number 3, the surface area is going to be 2 circles, so the top and the bottom. So color that in. That's the top. It's a circle. So if I had to find the area of the circle, it's pi r squared. Now, r, the diameter is shown to be 14, so the radius is 7. So pi r squared, it would be pi times 7 squared, which is 49 pi. Don't forget to put the 2 in there because there is a top and a bottom. Top, bottom. And then I have to add the side. The side is a rectangle, and that rectangle will have height of 12.8. And its length will be the circumference of the circle. So the circumference of this circle is pi times diameter. Area of a circle is pi times radius squared. So make sure you know the difference between those two. So the circumference here would be pi times the diameter. The diameter is 14, so 14 pi. Now I'm going to type all this right into a calculator, and I will get roughly 870.8 square inches. To find the volume of a cylinder, you take the area of the base times the height. So the area of the base, so the area of the circle is pi r squared, 49 pi, times the height, which is 12.8. Type that into a calculator, 1,970.4 cubic inches. You're going to notice that area of the base times the height kind of thing show up a lot with prisms and cylinders and things like that. All right, number 4, if I want to find the surface area. So the surface area here is going to be the area of the base plus 4 triangles, right? It's a pyramid, so I need 4 triangles. Okay, well, the area of a triangle is what? is 1/2 base times height. Okay. So the triangles, it looks like 1/2. The base is 4 right here. The height is 6.3. Okay, the base is a 4x4 square. So 4 times 4 is 16. I find the area of the base, 16. Find the area of each one of the triangles by doing 1/2 base times height. Multiply it by 4 because there are 4 faces to this pyramid. I just type all that right straight into my calculator. I end up with 66.4 square inches. The volume of a pyramid is 1/3 area of the base. So the area of the base, this area down here, which we said is 4 times 4, which is 16, 1/3 area of the base, times the height, which would be right here, the height, which I don't know. That I don't know yet. But if you take a look at this little right triangle that's made, I know the hypotenuse is 6.3. The little leg down here is half of the side. So half of 4 is 2. So I can do the Pythagorean theorem. I can say that 2 squared plus the height squared equals 6.3 squared. So that means the height is going to be the square root of whatever you get when you do 6.3 squared minus 2 squared. And in this case, the height is about 5.97. So when I want to find this volume, I will do 1/3 times 16 times the height, which is 5.97. Multiply those together, you'll end up with 31.9 cubic inches. All right, as I take a look at question number 5 again. All right, so I'm going to the diameter is 16, so we have an 8 and an 8. What is this height? I don't know, but I know the slant height here is 23.4, so I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem again. So 8 squared plus h squared equals 23.4 squared. So h is the square root, 23.4 squared minus 8 squared. So this height is going to be roughly 21.99, so almost 22 is that height. Well, the surface area, I'll tell you right now, this is one of them I don't even remember. The surface area to a cone, I just looked this up on the internet. It is pi times r, and then r plus the square root of h squared plus r squared. So I just needed the radius. The good news is the radius here is 8. And the height is 21.99. So if you plug all that stuff in there and just plug it and chug out, you'll end up with 789.2 units squared. They don't even tell us the units on this one. The volume of a cone is 1/3 the area of the base. The area of that circle is pi r squared, so the radius is 8, so 64 pi, times the height, which we said was 21.99. So this one's not too bad. 1,473.8. And those are cubic units. Again, do I expect you to memorize those? Absolutely not. Please do not take time to try to memorize those. Being able to just use the manipulations, I think, is much more a better use of your time. The last one we have, number 6, is a sphere. It shows the diameter is 17, so the radius is half of that, so it's going to be 8.5. So 8.5 is the radius. The surface area of a sphere is 4 pi times the radius squared. So if I do 4 times pi times 8.5 squared, I will get 907.2 square meters. And if I am going to do the volume of a sphere, it is 4/3 pi radius cubed. And again, I can type that right into a calculator, 2,572.4 cubic meters. That's it for your review. I hope these videos help you out as much as possible, and best of luck on your exam.